Good shit. Got it going. Got it ripping. Welcome to the channel, guys. So today we have a Polaris mod video, and this is a Polaris Sportsman 1000 XP, and I plan on doing a BigGUN exhaust, the EXO stainless steel exhaust, just the slip-on. And right now it has just the factory exhaust. I'm gonna go ahead and do some stock exhaust note clips and see what it sounds like stock for you guys, so you can have a baseline. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the BigGUN on, install the power box, aka power commander, and then we'll do some more exhaust clips and show you what it sounds like. So I'll give you a quick view of the ATV. I did some mods recently. We have the Polaris handguards. We have the KFI Tiger Tail. The bumpers are stock on this machine. You have the front heavy duty bumper and the rear heavy duty bumper. What else did I do on this? That right there, which is a snowmobile grab bar. I have videos of all this stuff, so if you want to check them out, go right ahead. And today we're going to take care of the exhaust on this machine because it definitely needs more bark, and it's going to sound really good. So I'll take you to the workshop and I'll show you what the exhaust looks like. Alright, so here we have the BigGUN exhaust. This is the EXO stainless steel. It's pretty much a straight through exhaust, but it does have a kind of forcing cone there, spark arrestor, which is also right here. That way, just in case you're in the woods and you need to make sure you don't start a fire. But basically we're going to replace the exhaust gaskets, springs, and we have the power box as well to make this proper. You have to install this power box with the exhaust because otherwise you're going to be running all sorts of weird air-fuel ratios, and it's not going to be good for your machine. So we're going to go work through the process here, and we're going to install this beast, and then we're going to see what it sounds like. Exhaust, and I'm going to take a quick reading with the decibel meter and see what it is at idle, and give it a couple of revs and see how high it goes on the decibel meter. So that right there is about 79 decibels, and I'm 2.5 feet, 3 feet away from the exhaust. Seven and a half, 3 feet away. Almost about 76 decibels, 5 feet away. So that hit 113 decibels when I kind of flipped the throttle like that. So that's going to be the stock exhaust. And now I'm just going to do like a takeoff here and show you guys what it sounds like taking off. Okay, so one more clip. I'm gonna go and rev up the ATV, and we're gonna put the decibel meter about 6 feet away and see what kind of reading we get. What do you got right now?
74. Max right there.
I have it on the standard mode, so I'm going to go to performance right now and see what happens.
About the same.
Good. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled in the ATV into the garage. I'm going to start pulling things apart because on this machine you have to remove the rear rack and get in here and remove the 2 screws on the inside of the storage box. So once you're able to do that and get this off, you're able to access the upper mount on the exhaust, which I guess you're supposed to loosen it and remove that. That way you can pull the exhaust out. It's kind of a really tight fit in there, so I think that's the reason why they want you to remove the rack in order to get access. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys what the result is. Alright, so far I went ahead and removed all the bolts from the top rack that's holding this rack down to the machine. So right now everything is loose. There's a whole bunch of bolts, as you can see there, that I had to take out. And pretty much we're going to lift this up right now and show you what's underneath and the reason why you have to remove the rack. So here we go. Do this carefully. So it allows us access to this mount here for the exhaust. We have to loosen that up, and then this is going to give us more play in order to get this exhaust system out. And that should be the trick. Alright, so first I'm going to go ahead and remove the exhaust springs. It's a really tight area, but I'm going to go ahead and try my best and use a screwdriver first. Let's try the needle nose. And that seems to work. Long reach needle nose. I don't want to do that. locking the jaws on it. That's them. And next step is to remove that mount at the top. This is a 1/2 inch nut on here. 1/2 inch bolt, I should say, bolt head.
Yep.
Not nut.
1/2 inch, 13 millimeter. Same thing.
So that's that. And now the exhaust. Should slide out. Thank you. That kind of hurt. Might have to loosen this up as well. I'm gonna give it another try. There's no... The heat shield is preventing it from backing out all the way. So we need another inch. That's not gonna happen. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and have to loosen this additional bolt and nut here for the other exhaust hanger mount. And I'm going to remove that, that way you can fully get enough room to swing the exhaust out. Hopefully this bracket for the exhaust hanger will just slide right out. I don't have to take apart the top one. You have to loosen the top one as well. Will it come out? There we go. Can you get it from this side here? Is this on the hanger still?
Yeah.
It's gonna come out straight up. Get a shot of it on the ground here. So we're going to remove this and we have to reuse this mount, the hanger mount, and that's the factory exhaust. It's not a straight through exhaust, it's actually baffled. So we're going to replace it with the BigGUN And pretty much it will be a straight exhaust. Wow, we're getting dirty, huh? So that's going to go back on there. I'm going to clean that up before I go ahead and bring in the big gun. We will have to replace this gasket here. It did get chewed up a little bit from exhaust being removed. I'm going to have to get a pick tool and pry on the back side of this to remove it, because it will, even though I am going to replace it, I don't want to jack the thing up. Alright, so we're going to get a sound clip with the exhaust off. We just have to do this because we all want to know what it sounds like. Wow, that is freaking loud. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove the old gasket from the mid pipe here. Hopefully it comes off easy. Looks like I'm going to end up ruining this thing taking it off. I guess you could still reuse it if you really had to. This is what the new one looks like. There is a notch here, so you could have to time it somewhere. Okay, so right at 6 o'clock there is a notch. So you will have to line that up with the new gasket. You can see that. Yep. So it's right in place. And then as you install the exhaust and the exhaust heats up, it's going to kind of melt this thing into place and form itself to the actual proper shape. Alright, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and grab the exhaust and the mount and slide it in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and install the spark arrestor on the exhaust, just because I will be doing trail riding and I want to comply with EPA regulations. Alright, get it close up, Nick. So that's the end piece on the exhaust. All stainless steel. The exhaust itself is all stainless steel as well. And okay, so even this side you have a cone feature in the exhaust. And you got the packing all throughout the outside of the housing. So same thing here. It's another cone. It's not a straight through exhaust. I guess it kind of is, but this cone is a lot longer in length than the one on the inlet side. So the inlet side is about, I don't know, 5-6 inches, and then this one here is 8-9 inches. Can you see that? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this according to how they want it here. So this will catch any spark that's coming out of the exhaust system and basically kind of muffle it so it doesn't cause a fire in the woods when you're trail riding. And that's supposed to be like that. Yep. All right, and that takes care of that. Now I'm ready to mount it on the machine. Go ahead and install the factory hanger bracket. I did also go ahead and lube up these grommets with WD-40 just so they're easier to slide on and to adjust once you get it on the machine. I will go ahead after and clean the whole can down with alcohol before I start the machine up, because there's all sorts of dirt and debris and WD-40 all over it right now from installation. And now we can actually feed this thing through and snap on the exhaust hangers. Just make sure our exhaust gasket is in place. You want to locate first the first hanger down here. We're going to slide it over the gasket, and then we're going to locate it up top here on the upper mount bracket. It's hitting. Why is that hitting? This bottom piece is hitting the frame. Let's angle that more. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to bend up this rod here, the hanger rod, a little bit, because it is coming in contact with the frame of the machine and preventing me from locating this stud here on this hole. Yep, there's no way around that. We have to bend it. Alright, so let's try this again. I went ahead and bent that up. And we're just going to go through the whole process again. Feed it onto the bottom hanger mount first. Then onto the exhaust gasket. Making sure that it's clocked properly. And then we can fidget with the mount up here again. Alright, seems like we're in the proper location now. So go ahead and install that 1/2 inch bolt. So this thing is like suspended, it's not even touching the gasket right now. It has to come down more. That's a little awkward. Alright, so it seems like we're having some kind of alignment issue here with the hangers and the exhaust gasket. There's quite a bit of gap there. So we're gonna have to go off camera and figure this out, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so this is what it takes to get this thing aligned. We had to heat up the hanger rods with a torch and kind of go back and forth on the machine and see what works, and then kind of heat it back up and then kind of realign the rods in order to get them to the proper alignment to work with the machine. We're also going to go ahead and loosen up the mid pipe to give us some more slack. That way we can butt up against the inlet better. So I guess right off the bat, you know, right out of the box, it did not fit. There was a serious alignment issue with the actual muffler itself. We had these things glowing red. In order to adjust them, we had to bend them into place several times, and we're just kind of going back and forth right now doing that. So just wanted to show you guys exactly what we're going through with the exhaust install, and we're close to having it pretty much done. Okay, so we're finally done installing the exhaust, and pretty much it took a lot of work. I'm not going to kid you whatsoever. We had to realign all those mounting hangers, the actual rods themselves, and it took several attempts to do that. And it seems like now we have good fitment with the exhaust. It's right on center of the opening here on the back side, and we had to do some serious heating up and bending of these hangers to make that happen. As you can see there, it sits nice and tight in there up against the gasket. At first there was an issue with that alignment, and then now everything is taken care of. We have the springs in place, everything's tightened up. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this with alcohol before I start the machine up, because I don't want any residue on the metal as it heats up during the first startup. And pretty much now all that's left to do is to put back the rack, bolt everything back down. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this panel and install the power box, which is highly recommended for this exhaust, and that should be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys in just a little bit a quick overview of the results. Alright, so we have the power box install complete. It was a little tight fit in here. What you have to do is end up using like a set of long nose, needle nose pliers, and get in there and grab the body of the housing on this first one towards the front of the machine, and use a screwdriver to actually press on the tab to release it. That will release the connector from that fuel injector. That is the tougher one out of the two. This one here on the right is a lot easier. That will come right out with just your fingers. But this one here is very tight, and it took about 5 to 10 minutes to get that one out and installed. So I put the box up top on the center here for right now, just because the wiring is not long enough to mount underneath the compartment here near the fuse block. So I ended up doing that. I ran the wire right down here, and pretty much when you start it up, it's going to look like this. It's going to flash, and then when you start the machine, it's going to go from flashing to a steady green or a flashing green, which means a proper install. So until I actually start the machine up, it's going to say that it's doing this like improper install, which is the flashing yellow and flashing red. But that's not to worry. As soon as you start it up, it's going to go away. And pretty much that's it. I'm happy with everything so far besides all the alignment issues with the exhaust. But we took care of that. And now we're going to do a sound clip of the BigGUN and show you guys what it sounds like. And I'll go ahead and put this thing back together, and I'll see you in the next clip. Here goes Nick on the ride around the property. Fucking knocked that tree right out. I just skid and knocked this tree out. I'll show you up close. There's Nick there on the trails. Look at this tree. I just hit this with the back end of the ATV and knocked it right up. Holy crap. Yeah, Nick's up there, wrapping it up. Yeah, that's good shit. Got it going. Got it ripping. Alright guys, so that's the final verdict. The thing rips, that's for sure. And the install didn't go as easy as we wanted to, but I think we're happy with the results.